It was a quiet evening in the bustling city of London. The rain had been falling steadily for hours, washing the streets in a glistening layer of water. The streetlights reflected on the wet pavement, casting long shadows. In a small apartment above a cafe, Detective Sarah Blake sat at her desk, staring at the computer screen. The usual hum of the city below was drowned out by the silence in her room. Sarah had been working as a private investigator for years, solving cases ranging from petty thefts to more dangerous ones. But tonight, she was working on something a little different. A mysterious case had come to her from a tech company. The company's top executive, Marcus Sinclair, had been receiving strange threats. His personal digital devices had been tampered with, and someone had been sending cryptic messages, warning him about upcoming deadlines that would cost him everything. Her job was simple: find out who was behind these threats and put an end to them before it was too late. The clock on her desk ticked away as she sifted through the evidence. Sinclair had provided her with his phone, laptop, and other devices. The first thing she noticed was a pattern. Each threat was connected to a specific date and time, but the messages weren't from any recognizable source. They came from encrypted accounts, making it nearly impossible to trace the sender. Sarah's eyes narrowed as she read the latest message. The clock is ticking. Your deadline is near. Nothing will save you now. Her instincts told her that the person behind the threats knew something about Sinclair's work. Marcus Sinclair was a tech genius, a man known for his breakthrough innovations in the field of artificial intelligence. He had built a digital empire, and his company was one of the most influential in the world. But now, it seemed someone wanted to take it all away. With no leads to follow, Sarah decided to visit the tech company's headquarters. It was located in the heart of the city, in a sleek glass building that reflected the lights of the streets. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Employees were gathered in small groups, whispering about the threats. No one knew who was behind them, but everyone was on edge. Sarah was escorted to Marcus Sinclair's office, where she found him sitting at his desk, staring at his computer screen. He looked troubled, his face pale, as if the weight of the world was on his shoulders. "Detective Blake," he said, standing up as she entered. "I'm glad you're here. I don't know who's behind this, but I'm starting to fear for my life. Whoever is doing this seems to know everything about me." Sarah nodded, taking a seat across from him. "Tell me more about these deadlines you've been receiving. Are they connected to anything in your personal or professional life?" Marcus hesitated. "It's hard to say. I've been working on a new project, something big, but I don't think it's related to the threats. I haven't told anyone about it, not even my closest colleagues. Do you have any enemies? Anyone who might want to sabotage you?" Marcus thought for a moment before shaking his head. "Not that I can think of. Everyone I work with is loyal." Sarah examined the room. There was something off about the way Marcus was acting. She couldn't put her finger on it, but she had a feeling that he knew more than he was letting on. She decided to take a closer look at the computer on his desk. It was sleek and modern, the latest model, and it hummed quietly as she approached. Marcus watched her closely as she turned it on and began to search through the files. Her eyes quickly scanned through the folders, looking for any unusual files or messages. Then she found it, a hidden folder labeled simply Project X. She clicked on it, and a series of encrypted files popped up. Her heart raced as she tried to decrypt the files, but they were locked behind a complex password. Marcus, noticing her interest, spoke up. "That's my project. I can't let anyone see it just yet. It's top secret." Sarah didn't buy it. The way he was reacting seemed too defensive. She knew there was more to this project than he was willing to admit. "Marcus," she said, turning to face him, "I think you're hiding something. This project, it's the key to everything. If you want to end these threats, you need to tell me what's really going on." Marcus seemed to shrink under her gaze. After a long pause, he sighed. "Fine, you're right. I wasn't being completely honest with you. This project, it's a new type of artificial intelligence, something more advanced than anything anyone has ever seen. I've been working on it for years, but I didn't want to make it public until it was finished. But now, I'm starting to think someone might be trying to steal it." Sarah leaned in closer. "Someone who knows about the project and wants to take it for themselves?" "Exactly. And if they succeed, they'll have control over one of the most powerful AI systems in the world. I can't let that happen." Suddenly, it clicked for Sarah. The threats, the digital tampering, the cryptic messages, everything pointed to one thing. Someone inside the company had discovered Marcus's project and wanted it for themselves. But who? She quickly scanned the list of employees working on similar projects. There were a few who had the technical know-how, but one name stood out: Jason Ford, a former employee who had been fired a few months ago for ethical violations. Jason had always been brilliant, but his methods were unorthodox, and he had a history of trying to hack into company systems. "Marcus, I think I know who did this," Sarah said, standing up. "I need to speak to someone who used to work here. I have a feeling they're involved." Marcus looked shocked. "You think it's Jason?" "I'm almost certain of it," she replied, heading for the door. "I'll take care of it. Don't worry." As Sarah left the office, she felt the weight of the case on her shoulders. The digital world was full of secrets, and in the age of artificial intelligence, things weren't always as they seemed. She would have to dig deeper, uncover hidden truths, and face the danger head-on. The countdown had begun, and Sarah was determined to solve the mystery before time ran out.